Two dudes in a cage. We are here to bring you our predictions and analysis for UFC 298, man. We are going to get right into it. We're not going to waste any time. So let's do it. What do we got first?
All right, so the first fight we're gonna go to the early prelims. It's Andrea Lee and the two dudes in a cage, uh, veteran and a Maverick.
Yes.
Andrea Lee, she's a kickboxer, and Miranda Maverick, you'd classify her as probably a grappler, but she is one of those new age MMA fighters where she is overall well-rounded. Andrea Lee is a great kickboxer. I believe she was a champion when she was kickboxing, but unfortunately, she doesn't seem to have an answer for grappling. She's lost her last three, which is start of a pattern. She lost three, won two, lost three. So if she sticks with that pattern, she's gonna win. Unfortunately, I think Miranda's the stronger fighter. She's gonna be able to get her to the ground, control her, and I got I got Miranda winning this fight, and I think Andrea KGB Lee is gonna be cut from the UFC.
Ooh, I know, man. I was kind of thinking the same thing. She's on a huge. Andrea Lee's on a big losing streak. She has all kinds of accolades, man. She's like a black belt in karate, a judo brown belt, BJJ brown belt, a crew in Muay Thai. She won the Golden Gloves. Um, she's got 3 KOs, 5 subs. Like you said, she's on a 3-fight losing streak. She was in Invicta, she was in LFA, she was on Tough. Just kind of seems like her career is starting to get maybe towards the end of it a little bit. 3-fight losing streak where Miranda's 26. She's been doing good lately. She BJJ black belt, 1 KO, 7 subs. I like how you called her a new age grappler because I can, definitely comfortable on the ground, but she's definitely comfortable striking. So, do you think she'll look for a takedown? Maybe look to ground and pound, maybe look to sub, but I do see Miranda winning this fight. Either way, where it ends up, Miranda probably be a smarter fighter and just try to take her down and not try and strike with Andrea Lee. Sorry, Andrea. I know you like Andrea too, so I mean it does suck, but
Yeah, she seems to like not work on her wrestling. It just seems like anytime she gets she just doesn't know what to do.
takes a long time to develop them wrestling skills, I guess. A long time.
I get it.
And
I'm not hating. Like I don't want anyone to but you can't do it.
I think it's just
See,
one of the hardest things that takes the longest. So maybe that's what it is.
yeah.
Man, next up, we got some names I cannot pronounce. We got Zhang Mingyang versus Brendson Ribeiro. That's not that bad. Zhang, man, I don't know much about either of these guys. Zhang's got 10 KOs, 6 subs. This is his UFC debut. He was on Road to UFC, which is like an Asian kind of contender series thing, maybe, or kind of tough, something like that. Looks like he throws a lot of high volume and he's probably a headhunter. A lot of his strikes go to the head, it seems. Brentson's got 9 KOs, 6 subs, very similar. It's his UFC debut as well. He was on the contender series. Um, I think I'm gonna go with Zhang in this one. Not knowing much about these, I think Zhang is just gonna be more higher volume. Um, he looks to be the better fighter in this one to me.
Yeah. So it looks like Mingyang Zhang is making his UFC debut. He's 16 KOs. Brandon Ribeiro is 15-5, a BJJ practitioner, but he's got some good power. He's got knows. Ribeiro fought on the Contender Series and he won out. But I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. I don't think this one's going to go the full 15 minutes. This is where they really start to get viewership, and I think this is a perfect fight to put on there because both of these guys are basically making their UFC debut. They got a big fight card. They're gonna show up. They're gonna throw hard, and I think Zhang's gonna get his hand raised. I think he's gonna get the knockout, but this is gonna be a good fight to start the prelims.
Yeah, for sure.
Next fight, here's another one. We got
Yeah.
Rinya Naukmura versus Carlos Vera. Naukmura he's a freestyle wrestler, and I'm gonna pull it up. I want to say his dad is like one of the founders of Shodo.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's the son of Kozo, who is involved in the early development of Shodo wrestling.
It's like being a Gracie or something, you know?
Yeah. It's a huge deal. A huge shadow to come up. He's only 8-0 in the UFC, so he's relatively new. I'm sorry, he's 8-0. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Even though he's a wrestler, he doesn't really wrestle. He uses it as a defense and not as much as offense. And he's very powerful. Carlos Vera, he was a contestant on The Ultimate Fighter twice. And what's crazy is, although he didn't like make it to the finale or anything, he lost to the two people that won it. Bryce Mitchell was the first time he lost in the Ultimate Fighter, and then Brad Katona, he lost again. This is going to be a good fight. I don't think Vera is well matched up in this one. I think this is more of a test for Naukmura, and I think Naukmura he's gonna get his hand raised. I don't think Vera is gonna be able to control it with the pace and the grappling, so I'm going Naukmura on this one.
Yeah, Nakamura does have like a huge wrestling advantage, and I think with his dad being who he is, and he should have a huge takedown advantage altogether. He does have 5 KOs on his record, so you know he can strike as well. So he does have that going for him. Looking through Carlos's record, it does kind of seem like his last fight was to Brad Katona. It does just kind of seem like let's see where Nakamura is at kind of fight. I mean, it happens all the time in MMA. You know, that's a pretty common thing. So, he's a pretty favorable underdog as well. So, I think I think you'd be dumb not to go with him for sure. Yeah.
If you're gonna bet, don't bet against Nakamura.
Right.
Or do.
Yeah.
You'll probably get a bigger payout if you do, but it's obviously a bigger risk.
He's probably the biggest on the card. Maybe not, but he's pretty large.
Yeah.
Advantage. Next fight, some big boys coming out to play. Marcos Rogeiro de Lima versus Justin Tafa. Is this just gonna be a big stand and bang fight? Marcos has got 14 KOs, 3 subs. He is a BJJ black belt. He's coming off a loss to Derek Lewis. Justin Tafa, he's from like, New Zealand, and I think he trains with Tai Tuivasa, was like his big training partner, so if you think of Tai Tuivasa, Justin Tafa kind of fights just like he does. Very similar. Justin's got 7 KOs. He's a BJJ blue belt. What What I don't like about this, I do like Justin and his style. I just think he's a little too inexperienced, just like Tai Tuivasa. Once he got up to the upper echelon of people, that stand and bang style just really isn't working for him. He's got to have some skill and technique in there as well. And I think just Marco is just has fought a tougher schedule, and he's more experienced. So I think he's gonna win.
I agree. I was trying to see because Tafa's takedown defense is 100%, but you could never take that for what it is, especially at heavyweight.
Yeah. I mean,
100%
it's still good.
it is, but that could be he caught someone, they tried to take him down, and he
Yeah.
didn't, like, he stopped it, rolled him over, and got on top, ground and pound. So it, I wish the UFC would break it down to like how many attempts before, but maybe they'll get better at that. Anyways, I think this is more of a test for Lima than it is Tafa. He just lost to Derek Lewis. And so Tafa, he's on a 3-fight win streak. He fought Austin Lane last, who he had a no contest with. So technically he's 3-0-1 in his last 4. Tafa's very powerful, but he's on a streak with KOs too. It's not like a decision. It's first round, first round, first round.
Yeah.
So if it gets in the later rounds, like most heavyweights, he tends to trail off. And I think with Lima that if Tafa can't get him in the first round, Lima's gonna be able to get the victory. Now with that, I think Tafa has a chance to win. And I wrote Tafa down, but I'm changing.
Uh,
I'm gonna go with the favorite, and I'm gonna say Lima's gonna get his hand raised. I think he can weather the early storm, get Tafa tired, and coast through.
yeah. I think it's like okay, Derek Lewis was able to knock you, but can this guy do it? I don't think so. But
Yeah, I mean, at heavyweight he has the chance. He's not technical when he strikes. He's very wild and
yeah.
open-ended. He just bites his mouthpiece down and windmills potentially.
Yeah. And I mean that does work, but at the top level and experienced guys, it tends to not work as well.
Yeah. This next fight, I do not like. I'm gonna just.
Man,
We got Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Now, Mackenzie is a late replacement. It was supposed to be Lemos versus Tatiana Suarez, which was going to be awesome. Suarez would have won via decision, but Mackenzie Dern, amazing grappler. However, her striking and her wrestling just, they had, obviously, they're not going to be to the level for the grappling, but it seems like she's still focusing on the grappling and not as much on the wrestling and the striking. You're a grappler,
yeah.
you need to get to the ground, and you have a 30%, or I'm sorry, a 14% takedown accuracy. And so she's, that's okay. She's still young, but when you're fighting Amanda Lemos, who can strike, you you want to make sure you can get it to the ground, control her, and wrap her up like an
Quickly.
anaconda. Yeah. So uh, I don't like this fight because I think Mackenzie Dern, I feel like they threw her in too quickly. They should have took time to build her up. And so I just think she's outmatched in skill level in the areas that she needs to work on. And so I'm going with Lemos. I think it's going to be decision. I don't think Dern's going to get finished, but I think Lemos is going to win via decision.
Nice. Man, I think this is like a classic striker versus grappler fight. Basically, Amanda's got 8 KOs, 3 subs. She just fought Whaley for the title. Mackenzie's a BJJ black belt with 7 subs. Um, yeah, I think the big question of this fight is if Mackenzie's going to be able to get a takedown or not, obviously. Um, and I don't know. I think Amanda Lemos is just going to be too strong. She's just going to be too tough for her. She'll probably push it against her, push the pace against her, and have her getting backing up eventually and land some good strikes and just overpower her probably.
Well, too, it's like it's not just can she get her down, it's can she keep her down? Because Lemos is strong for that weight
Yeah,
class. She's got that Miranda Maverick strength.
and
Jessica
country
Andrade.
that farm girl strength.
Yeah.
That farm strength, no joke, man. Shoot. Yeah, so I think Amanda Lemos is gonna win this one too. Mackenzie did seem to get thrown in with the deep end. It's probably because her grappling is so good. That usually happens. Um, I think when you have such high accolades like that, you get pushed quicker. And unfortunately, she didn't train her other areas like she should have. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of takes all your time. You have to train all the time to be able to do that. It's
Well, when she was at the one gym with RVCA gym that Bisping was at, she was doing really good in her striking. And then she left that gym and it's like her striking, she just stopped working on it or like not focusing as much on it. I mean, again, I'm not in the gym. I don't know. I'm
I mean
assuming,
it
but
definitely shows though. You can definitely see it.
yeah.
Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. Fluffy got 2 KOs, 7 subs. He's a BJJ brown belt. He's just coming off a win over Ed Shabazian. Roman's got 11 KOs. He's like a 5-time Sambo champion. Um, uh, this seems like a pretty interesting fight too here. Another looking at these fights. Anthony Hernandez has some good wins on his schedule.
Yeah.
Um, he's beat some good guys, and his record's doing good. Even though Roman's like has a good record and everything. I don't know who a lot of those guys are on his record. I think a lot of them were regional guys from Russia before he got to the UFC. Um, so maybe I'm crazy for picking Anthony over Roman, but I think just by the strength of schedule and the guys he's fought and got win over, I just like Anthony. Anthony always seems to come out with something too. He's like an exciting fighter. He's got heart or something, and he just seems to pull it off all the time. So I like Anthony in this one.
Interesting that you chose that.
Yeah.
All right. So Roman, like you said, combat Samba fighter. He's 4-2 in the UFC. He did not start that hot. He was 0-2 when he first started and 4-0 since. But like you said, with Russia, a lot of Russians and Brazilians though, they they call them taxi drivers, but they fight a lot of, warm-up fights to, you know, hopefully they face a lot of different situations to get prepared. And I think that's a lot of his record is that. But like you said, combat sambo. I wonder who else is a really good sambo wrestler. Uh, but Hernandez is really good grappling. He's got good stand up. Another one of those new age fighters where they're not a champion in one thing. They're really good at everything. And I think that's the advantage of this one is Roman's gonna have to he's gonna have to choose. Is he gonna stand up and get pieced up, or is he gonna go to the ground and risk getting submitted? And a lot of fighters that Hernandez has faced have made those decisions. And Kevin Holland, knocked Hernandez out, but Shabayan went to the ground, arm triangle. I too have Hernandez. I think he's going to win via submission too. I just think he's got the edge everywhere it goes. He has the edge. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Merab has been the number one contender in the bantamweight division for almost 2 years now. And out of loyalty, he decided not to fight for the title, which I get, but now you got to fight Henry Cejudo, who happy birthday to Cejudo. He just turned 37 on Friday, February 9th. But this one's tough because Cejudo is so good. Then he retired. 3 years later, he comes back. First fight back, fights for the title. So he lost. Sterling was able to control it, was able to keep him from getting taken down. And could that be because Cejudo's ring rust was, 9 weeks after 3 years off? Like, there was a lot of questions on that one. Now the question is 37 in the bantamweight division too old? I don't know how to pick this one. So I'm gonna have to go with the favorite. I think Triple C just can't count him out, but I don't see how he's gonna get a win. I think it's gonna be a narrow decision, and I think Merab gets his hand raised and fights the winner of Cheeto and O'Malley for the title.
Is Merab the favorite? Merab's the
Yeah,
favorite? Yeah.
it's really close. It's minus 198 and for Merab and plus 164 for Cejudo.
Oh.
I guess it's not that close, but
yeah, no, that's not bad. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is gonna be like one of the fights where if you want to for sure something, you bet on the fight going to the distance.
yeah.
Because a lot of these their fights, a lot of Merab has 12 decisions. I think a lot of Henry's fights are decisions as well, but Merab has 3 KOs, 1 sub, 12 decisions, judo black belt. His last 3 wins were against Peter Yan, Jose Aldo, and Marlon Morales. Henry's got 8 KOs. He was an Olympic wrestler, the former flyweight and bantamweight champion. Yeah, I just think Henry has kind of not been like as fast as he was since he came back. He's a little bit slower. Everything's not as spot on as it was as
He's
when
not
he
as fluid.
retired. Yeah. I think this should be a good back and forth fight. It'd probably be like very technical, grinding for positions, and maybe a few punches on the way in and on the way out, and then kind of grappling and hand grappling, fighting for position, trying to get a takedown, getting back up, and kind of just fighting for position from there. I think it's going to be a lot of that. The whole fight.
Some would say boring.
Yeah.
Listen for the booze. I feel like there's going to be a lot of booze in this one.
I mean, that's probably is what's going to happen. But I think Merab's going to get it in the end.
Yeah, I don't think it's not going to be an entertaining fight unless you're really watching for like the technical moves.
Right.
It's going to be a very technical, a very chess match.
Yeah. I mean, some people could like that kind of fight, but I think Henry runs his mouth a lot. And
King of cringe.
the way he does that, he should be more of an exciting fighter, and then it just kind of comes off as kind of boring in the end.
Yeah.
But
He does it to get views, but it doesn't. He brings the people, but he doesn't, give back to them.
yeah, it's like a gotcha,
Yeah, got you again.
And after a while, people are gonna be like, "Nah, last time you said you was gonna bring it, and it was boring. So why would I watch you again?" Maybe.
Yeah, if there's a prop bet, he'll come out to the weigh-ins. He'll punt something Merab-ish. He'll punt something O'Malley-ish and something Cheeto-ish,
Something
and
Cheeto.
then it'll get boring the next day.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, next fight: Geoff Neal versus Ian Garry. Geoff has 9 KOs, 2 subs. He's a BJJ purple belt. Man, he's got really nice and clean, accurate striking. He doesn't swing crazy. He moves really well. He kind of waits for the right punch. I think that's a good style up against Ian Garry. 7 KOs, 1 sub. He's a black belt in judo. Ian Garry's known for knocking people out. He hits hard. He finishes fights. He does go to decisions too. I mean, I think it's a good matchup with Geoff Neal because they do fight very similar. I think this is going to be a stand-up boxing match, back and forth, trying to see who can knock out the other one the first, uh, uh, kind of thing. I just see a lot of that happening. Um, it's hard. I mean, Ian Gary's on kind of a hot streak. It's kind of hard not to pick him, honestly. Um, But Geoff Neal's a tough dude, the good opponent. He's got a hard fight ahead of him, but I think Ian Garry can get this one done, man. I do.
You know, our faithful fans recognize Geoff Neal, which I year because these two are supposed to, and uh, I believe pulled out. They got Ian a replacement, and Ian pulled out because he had pneumonia. And so now the original Geoff Neal, Ian Machado, and like I said then, I'm gonna say it now. Ian Machado Garry, submission, second round. I just Geoff Neal, hands of stone, powerful. I just think Ian Garry he's special. I'm prove me wrong. I I don't know what it is. He's trying to be like Connor. It's like be yourself.
Yeah, he is kind of cringe with that shit too, though. He does kind of go a little bit too far, but
Be his wag. I mean his wife.
yeah, man,
This one's gonna be a good fight.
I think so too. I think it's a good fight. Yeah, it's a good matchup.
I like how the
Uh,
UFC is really ramped it up. 'Cause, you in the past they would do a good fight, and like a fight, and then co-main. So they're really getting, it just builds to potential great fight after great fight after great fight. So this is a great placement.
yeah,
It's
Geoff
off to the
Neal.
races.
Geoff Neal just beat Vicente Luque too, so
Yeah,
it's a good matchup.
yeah. Next fight, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. It is the co-main event. Robert Whittaker is one of the best middleweights. And now I know I'm not saying of all time. I'm just saying right now he is one of the best. From coming from welterweight to being a middleweight, he has lost 3 fights. May have heard of someone named Israel Adesanya. He lost to him twice. And then someone named Dricus Du Plessis. I don't know if you know who he is. He's the current champion, Bobby Knuckles. has come to play. And Bobby Knuckles is gonna get his hand raised. I'm calling it right now. Knockout. It's either gonna be a potential rematch with DDP or a contender, first contender against Sean Strickland. That's gonna be the next fight. And that's gonna be a good one if it's Sean Strickland.
That would be a
Good
good fight,
fight.
actually. Yeah, I like it.
But he's got to get past Paulo Costa first, which he will. But let me look past him, not
Oh,
you. You know what I'm saying?
okay. Yeah, man. Robert Whittaker's got 9 KOs, 5 subs. He's a black belt in karate. He's a black belt in BJJ. Um, he was like a national wrestler in Australia. He won a bunch of wrestling things there. Paulo Costa's got 11 KOs, 1 sub. He's a BJJ black belt too. Um, he will stand and slug it out with them, but I don't know. That might not be smart with Robert Whittaker. I think Paulo really only does have like a puncher's chance in this, where he could land a lucky punch, and seems to be what happens in a lot of his fights, honestly. Um, I do think Robert Whittaker is the better fighter. He's more well-rounded. I think he can hit harder and cleaner and more accurately, to where Paulo just lands a lucky shot, as to where Whittaker landed a cleaner shot and it was more effective. Um, I'm calling Robert Whittaker as well. Yeah,
It's
that's
it's
your
a
that's
good matchup, but I just don't see Paulo Costa. Yeah, and then he'll blame having red wine the night before or whatever. But
let's
I
hope
just think
not.
Robert Whittaker is just too good right now.
Yeah, I think he's the better fighter.
Yeah,
Paulo Costa is more of like, he's, I don't know, it just seems to be like he's like a model, and he wants to be in the headlines, and I mean, not that he doesn't take fighting seriously and whatnot, but that's just kind of the image I get
he's
from
kind of
him.
like reminds me kind of Luke Rockhold.
Right? Yeah, there you go. It's a good way to put it. Sorry. And now we're on to the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria. Volkanovski's got 13 KOs, 3 subs. He just went up and fought for the lightweight title twice. He's a BJJ black belt. He's got an amazing record. He beat Max Holloway 3 times. I mean, that should tell you something right there. Ilya's got 4 KOs, 8 subs, BJJ black belt. He's undefeated. He just beat Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. Uh, yeah, I think this is gonna be a really good fight. Ilya's calling himself the champ already. He's coming out with a documentary, like The Road to the Championship. It's supposed to release right after the fight. Um, so he's got like a great mindset going. Volkanovski is undoubtedly one of the greatest featherweight champions of all time. Went up and challenged for the lightweight title. Um, I think what worries me about that is, how is that going to affect him, those 2 losses. He did take the second one on short notice, so hopefully he kind of just brushed it off, and it seemed like there were some things he said where it made me worry, like fighting is his life, and if he's not fighting, he gets depressed. So how did those losses affect him? Um, um, man, I want to pick Volkanovski as the winner, but Ilya does have me a little bit worried. I'm not gonna lie, man. He looks like he's coming for it. And he's never lost yet. So Could be a tough fight for Volkanovski.
So you're going Ilya?
Nah, I don't know. I don't want to pick him, but man, it's tough.
All right. I tell you what, don't make your pick yet. Let me drop some nuggets in there for you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So Alexander Volkanovski, last time he lost before was 2013. He lost TKO, head kick, and punches.
Mm.
That was May 10th, 2013. Then February 12th, 2023, he lost to Islam Makhachev via decision. So that was 21 fights later. He went on a 21 fight win streak, lost to Islam up a weight. Now, so that's 2 losses, right? Then he came back down, fought Yair Rodriguez, won 3rd round TKO. Then on the 3-day notice, he went up again and fought Islam and got KO'd, head kick and punches. I'm not saying he's going to win 21 fights in a row again, but when he lost the first time in 2013, that was in May. 8 months later, he fought in December and he won. And then when he fought Islam via decision, 6 months later, he fought Yair. So we're about six months from when he lost KO. Me personally, I'm not worried that like the KO messed with him just because of what he did 12 years ago or 11 years ago. I don't know if you've seen the commercial he did, like Volk is too old, and hilarious commercial. If you haven't seen it, you should go look it up.
All right.
Volk is old commercial. It's hilarious. That narrative is crazy. He's 35 years old. So if he's too old, we're too old. 3 fights he's lost. 1 at welterweight, 2 at lightweight. He's never lost as a featherweight. The people he has fought. Obviously, Topuria's younger. He's not had as many fights, so he's not going to have the resume that Volk has. But Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell, trouble with wrestlers and grapplers. And Josh Emmett, had a war against Yair. Those are his best wins. He's only been in the 3rd round once and then 5th round once. So he's been in the 3rd round twice, fought the 5th round once, and that was his last fight. Volk just puts on the pressure and pressure and pressure. I can't think of anything that Topuria can do is if Topuria tries to push the pace, Volk's gonna get off the center line and become the aggressor. If Topuria tries to take him down, Volkanovski is like an iceberg. His ass is below the midline. He's a lot stockier and heavier. I mean, Islam is a monster at 155. So me personally, Volkanovski's cardio is crazy. After that 3rd round, pushing it, and I think Volkanovski is going to win via decision. I will say I messed this up. Damn it! Oh, shut. Support to be champion, just not this weekend. That was supposed. I say Volkanovski, but you get the point. Volk's going to win.
Man, those are a lot of good facts. I think it does help sway the vote a little bit. As good as Ilya is being undefeated and beating some stiff competition, I just think, like you said, Alexander Volkanovski is just gonna, he's gonna retain the title. He's kind of on his way to building up a pretty big legacy. So I don't know, What if he does lose though? Does that mark the beginning of the end of his legacy? If he does lose, can he come back from it? Losing the lightweight title, then losing his title right afterwards. That might be something entirely different. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good one. Um, the UFC's been offering a $10 discount on this one too. It's probably already too late to get it. But if you haven't got it already, get it. Maybe they don't think it's gonna sell a lot of tickets, so they're offering $10 off. I don't know why they did that with the last couple of ones. Maybe they're just trying to be nice. Who knows? I
Nah.
don't know. Nah, probably not. Yeah, you're right. As always, we have fun doing this. We hope you enjoy it. We hope we're getting better. We love doing it. We hope to keep bringing them to you.
Yeah, we're trying to bring better content. Sometimes you get worse before you get better. And so you
Yeah,
know what? Even with like headset mic issues, we're trying to get better content for, for everybody, especially the haters. And I hope, keep liking, keep listening, keep subscribing.
yeah.
Two Dude Nation.